The role of the digestive system is to transfer the food we eat into nutrients, water, and electrolytes. The cells can then generate adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, from these nutrients to carry out the particular energy-dependent activities that require them to maintain homeostasis. In order to transfer the food that we eat into nutrients that we can use, the digestive system has to perform 4 basic processes. These processes are motility, secretion, digestion, and absorption. The digestive system is essentially a long tube that runs from our mouth to our anus. Motility has 2 main functions. The first is mixing. The mixing of food allows for digestion to occur and the breakdown of food from large components to small components. Propulsion is the ability to move the food forward throughout the tract. The speed of propulsion is directly related to what is going on in each particular part of the digestive system. Contraction of smooth muscles within the walls of the digestive organs cause the movement of material throughout most of the digestive tract. The only exceptions to this are the mouth and the external anal. This is where motility involves skeletal muscle and can be under voluntary control. The second step of digestion is secretion. There are many digestive juices that are secreted into the lumen of the digestive tract to help break down the various components of our foodstuffs. Secretions are released by exocrine glands and consist of water, electrolytes, and organic constituents important in breaking down the specific components of our food. In order to accomplish secretion, energy is needed for active transport of the raw materials into the cell and the synthesis of this secretion juices. These juices are typically held until they are signaled to secrete through either neuro or hormonal influence. Since the process of creating digestive juices require ATP, it is advantageous for the body to reabsorb most of the components of these juices. The food we eat can be broken down into 3 basic categories: fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. In their largest form, these molecules are too large to pass from the lumen and into our blood and lymphatic system. Digestion is the third process of our digestive system. The process of digestion is breaking these larger food molecules into small enough molecules to diffuse from the lumen and into our blood and lymphatic system. Fats must be broken down from triglycerides down to monoglycerides and free fatty acid chains. Proteins must be broken down into their smallest building blocks of amino acids, and carbohydrates must be broken down from polysaccharides to disaccharides to monosaccharides. These monosaccharides include glucose, fructose, and galactose. Digestion is accomplished through hydrolysis, which is the breaking of bonds by adding water and an enzyme in the digestive secretions to break the bonds that hold these larger molecules, such as triglycerides, proteins, and polysaccharides together. Any food that is ingested into our mouth has not actually entered into our body. Since this is a long digestive tube that is in direct contact with the environment, anything that is within the lumen of our digestive system is still considered in contact with the environment. This means that it is not of use to any of our cells until we are able to do the last step of the digestive system. Absorption is moving these small components from the lumen and into our blood and lymphatic system. Once these micronutrients have been moved from the lumen into the bloodstream and the lymphatic system, they can be delivered to the tissue for use to create more ATP. Not only do we move the energy-rich fats, proteins, and carbohydrates from the lumen into our bloodstream and lymphatic system, we also move water, vitamins, and electrolytes from the lumen into the blood and lymphatic system. The digestive tract includes all of the digestive organs plus accessory organs such as the salivary glands, the pancreas, the liver, and the gallbladder to assist in these 4 processes of the digestive system. Each has specific components that make it ideal for accomplishing one of these 4 tasks. The digestive tract has the same 4 general structures throughout most of its length. These 4 layers can be present in various amounts depending on the part of the digestive tract you are at. The outermost layer is the serosa, which is the outer connective tissue that covers the digestive tract. It secretes a watery, slippery fluid that lubricates and prevents friction between the digestive organs and the surrounding viscera. Underneath the serosa is the muscularis externa. There are 2 layers to this muscular level. The inner layer is a circular layer that wraps around the digestive tract. The outer layer is a longitudinal layer. Both are smooth muscle and therefore are under involuntary control. The longitudinal layers, when they contract, they shorten the tube and propel the food further along the digestive tract. The circular fibers, when contracted, will decrease the diameter of the lumen, constricting the tube at the point of contraction. This causes the food to continue to move forward along the tube as well. The combination of the longitudinal and circular muscle contraction creates a mixing effect with the food within that area. Between the longitudinal and circular muscle is a complex network of nerves called the myentergic plexus. Inside of the muscularis externa is the submucosa layer. This layer is thick connective tissue that provides the digestive tract the ability to distend and its elasticity to recoil. It contains a large supply of blood and lymphatic vessels that branch into smaller and smaller capillaries in the mucosa layer. It also contains a nerve network known as the submucosa plexus. The innermost layer surrounding the lumen is the mucosous membrane. It is an inner epithelial layer that serves to protect the surface and a mucosa membrane that provides particular areas for secretion and absorption. It contains exocrine gland cells for secretion of digestive juices and endocrine gland cells for secretion of hormones. The epithelial cells are specialized for absorbing digested nutrients. The lumen is the innermost space of the digestive tract. This would be the space where the foodstuffs will travel as it moves from the mouth down to the anus. The digestive system is highly regulated. The first mode of regulation of the digestive system is the autonomic smooth muscle cells. These are autorhythmic cells similar to what we find in the cardiovascular system. These cells are able to spontaneously drift towards threshold. However, unlike the cardiovascular system autorhythmic cells, every time these cells drift towards threshold, they are not guaranteed to reach threshold. Whether or not they are able to reach threshold is based on whether or not food is present, neuroinnervation, or hormonal innervation. The example below shows how food can increase the likelihood of action potentials being generated from the autorhythmic cells. When no food is present, the starting point for drifting towards threshold is lower compared to if food is present in the digestive system. Because food is present, the cells are automatically closer to threshold compared to when there is no food present. This means the cells are more likely to reach threshold and generate an action potential, which will move to the contractile smooth muscle cells by gap junctions. In contrast, when no food is present, the autorhythmic cells never reach threshold and an action potential is never generated. The second mode of regulation of the digestive system is the intrinsic nerve plexus. These two plexuses are the submucosal plexus and the myenteric plexus. Combined, these two nervous systems contain as many neurons as is found in the spinal cord. It is a highly dynamic system that contains sensory receptors, afferent interneurons, and efferent neurons. The sensory receptors respond to local changes and stimuli in the area. They are able to innervate endocrine cells and smooth muscle, and also can have both an excitatory and an inhibitory effect on local cells. Extrinsic nerves also regulate the digestive system. Sympathetic stimulation will decrease digestive activity, while parasympathetic stimulation will increase digestive activity. The last regulation of digestive is hormonal. Gastrointestinal hormones have specific target cells in the digestive tract. They are released through the bloodstream and target specific areas of the digestive tract to either increase or decrease digestion and movement of foodstuff through the system.